All right, welcome back. We're going to go through Atlanta and New York in this video. So this is the one that the model changed the most after game one. It was flip-flopping back and forth for the first 3 days that the game was getting predicted. Went up to Atlanta on by about a point there when before that first game happened, and then it flipped down. Went from Atlanta at point 0.8 to New York by 3.5 points. Now it's at New York by 4 after this morning's update. So Vegas still has New York. It's at 6.5 now. The total's still at 217. So the model is on the Atlanta side of the spread. It is on the overside of the total. But Atlanta is going to have to play much better offense and defense in this game if they want that to happen. So obviously the defense won't help the total, but having a more competitive game definitely will. So on this one, I'm not entirely sure. I do think I like the Atlanta spread side. I do think New York will probably win the game again. The total, the total is iffy for me. Like I said, I think that would be more of a live bet for me. Try to see how they get off to an early start. If Atlanta struggles again, they're a very streaky team. Then I may pull it off a little bit, but it does seem like it'll be a decent prop game. We'll start here with Alexander-Walker for three pointers. There's other players there too. If you want to go to letsparlayml.com, you can check all of these out yourself. Plus any other player you want to look at the lines of. So I'm going to start with him at 3. So Alexander-Walker has averaged 3.2 on the season. He's hit 3 or more in 62% of the overall games. In the last 25 games, his average is up 0.4. His hit rate is up 14%. If you go to the road, there's really not much difference between his home and road. The average is the exact same on the full season. It is 1% different on the full season hit rate. And the last 25s, it doesn't even change. The average does. He's averaging 3.6, but the hit rate is still 72%. So the model likes him at 3.5. He has hit in road games. He's hit 3 or more in the last 4 games. 4 of the last 6 or 5 of the last 6 games, and 8 of the last 10. No, 7 of the last 9 games. Sorry, long day. Anyway, though, so the last game he did have 3, and that wasn't a blowout. He didn't even have to. I mean, I guess he still got 40 minutes, so he got quite a bit of time, but it was not a good game for Atlanta. He still got to the 3. He's hit 3 or more in, like I said, the 4 straight road games. Those have been against Orlando, Brooklyn, Cleveland, and New York. He's been 2 or more in the last 6 games. So Boston was down to 2. Houston kept him to 1. But most of these are at 3 or better. I think he's good for 3 or better. There's the New York one. He had Boston at home. He had 3 earlier. If you go to the overall, though, when they played back here on April 6th, he had 7 3-pointers. That one was at home. Still 39 minutes, though. So this is a team that he can score against. He can get hot. He's got to do it on the road, not just at home. But I think that's probably one of my favorite picks that's going for like negative 230 on the odds right now. I think one of my other favorite picks is probably Dyson Daniels. I like him for his assists and rebounds combo. On DraftKings, you can get that. It's at 12 RA for minus 145 right now. So in the first game, he had 11 assists. He had 9 rebounds. So the model likes him for 4.8 on the rebounds, or on assists. So right about 5. But if you look at the overall, he's been hitting 5 or better pretty consistently recently. The overall on the season, he's averaged 6, and he's had a 62.3% hit rate. It has gone down in the last 25 games overall. If you go to the away games, though, he's still at a 64% hit rate. He's averaging 5.8. He's had multiple games that the model finds similar that are up here at the top, including that last game. 3 of the last 5 have been 5 or better. So 5 on the assist looks pretty good. Most of these games, if you look at the most similar games by the model for what those teams were doing at the time, it does change by date. So it's not just an overall team by the season structure. It is changing game by game and trying to find teams that are matching up compared to what those teams were doing at that time. So a lot of these games, he's getting good minutes. He's getting the assists. So I do like him on that part of it. Then if you go to rebounds, this is the part he missed the 10 last time. So we'll look at him just for 7. 7 and 5 will get us to the 12. So the model has him predicted at 6.7. Now, if you look at the overall, he's hit 7 or more in 4 straight, 5 of the last 6, and 6 of the last 9 games. There are some green dots down here, so these are the most similar games by the model, and those did miss. We go down here, we can see he missed against Brooklyn. I wouldn't really consider them to be similar. The thing is, it looks at a lot of things. It looks at pace, it looks at rebounds, points, assists, and it's just a big composite score, and it weights it based on the stat and the ones that it thinks that it's going to use the most. But if you look at just New York, he had 9, he had 12. So he got 12 just on rebounds. He was 1 short on just assists in this last game. So I think the combo for 12 at -145, that one, like I said, NAW at 3 3-pointers. If you combo those together, you have a decent parlay. I think those are really good options. Other ones that I looked at and I liked, I'll just stick with Atlanta for right now. So I do like Jalen Johnson. I think I like his points the most. So in the last game, they put Josh Hart on him. That cut down his rebounds. Josh Hart ended up with 14, and it cut down on his assists. He only ended up with 3 assists, so he still got 23 points. I think this is probably the best way to go on if you want to play him. So, because he's still going to be looking to score. So I think I would play him probably closer around the 18 points. You can get that at -265 if you want to play him up to 20. I think it's decent. The model has him at 19, so just under. Overall, as you can see, he missed it in 2 games right before the first for game 1. But these green dots all are at 20 or higher, except for all the way back in February. So that part to me looks pretty good on the overall. He's averaging 21.2 in his last 25 games, and he's hit 20 or more in 60% of those games, so 15 of them. If you go to the road, the hit rate does go down. It goes down to 52%, but his average goes up to 22.9. So he's scoring more points. He's just fallen short of that 20 line a couple times, and a lot of them have been just under. That's why I would probably do 18. That way, if something happens, if he just misses, suppose like a Brandon Ingram, although he had 17 last game, so still wouldn't save you at 18. But if you want to play it at 18, I think it's just a little bit safer. I think there's plenty of pieces you can play together in this game. Playing a little bit safer, you can still build your odds up on that. But again, green dots are at the top of a lot of these. These only 2 that missed, and these are at 19 against Charlotte, 19 against Boston. So if you go down here, most of these in the similarity are all over 20. There's that 19 against Charlotte. Couple 12s. Those were at home. So on the road, all of these are over 20, except for that Charlotte one. So 20 points or better would be good. 18 would be a little safer. Depends on how you want to play it. The last one I'm going to look at for Atlanta is going to be McCollum. I think his points are a pretty good option. So game 1, you can look down here. He had 26 points in about 34 minutes. Look at the other game. That one was at home. He had 17 in about 35 minutes. But if we look at McCollum for his home and away, if you look at home, let's go up to the 20 points, so it makes it a little bit more easy to see. He's had quite a few that have been under. If you look at the away games, a lot of these have been really close or have been over. Only a couple have dipped down pretty far. So if you want to look at it at the 15 line, a lot of these are over the 15. I think you could play him at 15. It's -268, but really I think you can play him at 18. Obviously, he has some 17s, 9s, things like that on here. But if you look at the most similar games, these he would have been with Washington. But 27, 21, 14, and a 17. The 17 was New York, like I said. Both of these at home, though. If you look at the road, 17, 27, 21. He's been doing pretty well on the road since he's been with the Hawks. And I think that if you want to go safe, I think 15. But I do think they're going to try to button down on Jalen Johnson again. So Nickeil Alexander-Walker and CJ McCollum are obviously the next go-to guys. But we will go into the Knicks players now. I think my favorite one is probably going to be Brunson's assist. Brunson got off to a hot start last game. I think that the Hawks will try to slow him down a little bit, which should open up probably opportunities for some other people and him dishing the ball. He got to 7 last game, so model's giving him a 60% chance to hit 7. It has him at 7.7 predicted. In his last 25 games, he's averaged 8 and he's hit 7 or more in 72%. On the season, he's averaging just under 7 and his hit rate is only at 54%. If you go to home, the hit rate goes up a little bit. The average stays about the same. The more recent actually does go down a little bit, but he has a lot recently that have been good. He's only missed this line 3 times since the beginning of February. So the last game, like I said, he did have 7. Let's put it on overall so we can see what he did the game before that. So he had 13 when he played in Atlanta. He had 7 last game. I would expect him to end up somewhere in that range. I don't know that he'll get up to 13 today, but I think it's possible because with as hot of a start as he got off to last time and as slow of a start as Cat got off to last time, my guess is they're going to try to get that pick and roll going a little quicker with him or get Brunson driving in, kicking out to OG. He shows probable, but I think he will end up playing. If you look at the most similar games, he does have some misses. He missed by 1 against Dallas, missed by 3 against Philly, only ended up with 4 in that game. So a lot of these are older games, though. He only has 2 here since the middle of January. Both of those are 7 or better. He has a 15 and he has a 7. So I think this is a really good look today. They are healthy. They're going to need to switch things up a little bit. I don't think they're going to get off to such a hot start with the same game plan today. So like I said, last game, Josh Hart ended up with 14 rebounds. His best game in the last 25. So he's had 7 or better in 52% of the last 25 games. He's been averaging 7.5 in that time. So if we go to the home games, 64% hit rate, averaging 8.6 in that time. Does have some that have just missed, so I don't know that you would want to play him lower than 7. His odds at 7 are minus 213, so pretty good for a parlay piece, but you're definitely going to want to put it with something else at that line. He's going to be fighting with Jalen Johnson again. He won on that battle last game. I don't know if he'll have it as easy this game, but the fact that he got 14, 7 seems incredibly reasonable to me that he would get. The model does have him at 7.5, so it does have him just above this. If we go to the overall down here, he had 5 in the game in Atlanta. He played just over 30 minutes, so it wasn't a minutes thing, but he does seem to do better when he's at home. So, I mean, this game against Boston, he only had 1. That's kind of weird, especially in a game against Boston. But the most similar games, he's been clearing really 6 or better, some 7, some 8s, but he's had double digits multiple times in here. 4 of the 10 games have been double digits. So I just think playoff atmosphere in Madison Square Garden. Really good game last game. Probably a good look to go with again this game. And then last one I'm going to do is OG. I think you can do him for either 15 points or 2 threes. As you can see, he is probable. I expect him to go. If you look at the most recent games, some of these dips. So he only played 15 minutes in the game before game 1, and he had 2 points in that time. He had 36 the game before that. He only scored 13. But a lot of these, especially when he's healthy, he is getting there. So 17 average in the last 25 games, even with those games included. And he's hit this line in 60% of those games, so 15 of the 25. Overall in the season, he's averaging a little bit less, 16.8. Hit rate is better, almost 66%. So he's hit it in 7 of the most 10 similar games, averaging 18.7 in that time. Those will be these down here. So the home game, 18 in that last game. Another home game, 25. Brooklyn, he only had 5. Dallas, he only had 9. So those were quite a while ago. If it's comparing those to this team, that would have been, I would imagine, games when they were playing at least a little bit better defense at that time. I know Dallas got hot for a few games and then really, really struggled for the rest of the season. But for this, like I said, model's got him at 17.2. I think you can take him at the 15 points. I think you can take him at 2 threes. 15 points is minus 145, slightly better odds. 2 threes is minus 222. So still very playable. Just not quite as good odds, but he can get it. Really, he can get it in the first quarter if he comes out and he shoots the ball. Like I said, I would expect Brunson to get locked down a little bit more on this time. Perhaps a double team coming, and when that happens, he's going to have to kick it out somewhere. I think OG is probably the most reliable person on that, unless Cat can get the pick and roll going. Then obviously he's a good pick too. But if you look at these green dots, all of these are at the top of peak. So he's got a 5, he's got a 6. Last game he had a 2, but he hadn't been playing much. He's been recovering from that injury. So if he is actually good to go, I mean, the potential is there for perhaps a good ladder. At home, 2, 3, 4 looks like decent odds. So the model has him at 72% for 2. It has him at about 50% for 3. So home games, he's only missed this line 2 times, including that game where he only played 15 minutes against Toronto. 2 times since the end of January. He's been killing 2 or more. Really, he's been getting 4 or more in a lot of these games. In that time, his average has been 2.5 in the last 25 home games. He's hit that in 68% of the times. On the season, 2.4, so about the same average, about the same hit rate as the full season in the last 25 home. And both of those are a little bit better than his full season and last 25 for the away side. So games that finds most comparable, Dallas was pretty good against the 3 this year. He missed it in New Orleans. That one was on the road. But if you look at these home games, that Miami, that Dallas game, only ones that missed. A lot of these are 3 or more. So 2 threes, 13 or 15 points, I think are your best looks at those. I think my favorite ones for this game really are, though, Alexander-Walker for his 3 threes, Dyson Daniels for his rebounds and assists look the best for me. Let me know what you think in the games. Let me know if you have any other questions. Maybe I'll try to get one out for that last game. Not entirely sure yet. We'll see what happens, but good luck.